Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and I'm reading Detective Comics issue number 950. This is kind of anniversary type. Guys, you know me, I always say the bad news first, then the good news. So let me get the bad news out of the way. I really thought this comic was going to be better and more of a wow kind of comic than it was. That aside, everything else from this point is all good news. Guys, this is a double-sized issue. We're talking about like 40 plus pages. It's huge. There are three main stories in here. The first one follows Orphan. Now, Orphan is Cassandra Cain, no relation to Catherine Cain. There's actually different spellings, last name spellings. Anyway, so yeah, they're not actually related, but they both have daddy issues. It's a strange thing. I guess that's really all of everybody. It's like either your dad's alive and he's a dick, or he's dead and yeah, you put on bat clothes. So either way, you're putting on bat clothes. So here we have Orphan, this little girl of probably the best assassin who's ever lived, also named Orphan. But the point is that she's an amazing assassin, and she's got all sorts of issues that she can't talk because of the things that she's seen. And she's so deadly, so dangerous, that she literally sees pressure points and ways to kill people, 1,000 ways sometimes, but every ounce of her is about trying to control it, because one slip towards her instincts and then she's just eviscerated someone. So she purposely goes out of her way and struggles to not kill when she fights. She's that good. Even staring at Batman at one point, she's looking at all the different ways that she could break his jaw through the reinforcement that he's got in his cowl. It's really, really good writing. Absolutely love this. By the way, the art all throughout is amazing. And there's one scene in here where Batman is standing in front of the bat signal with Commissioner Gordon there. And this is the kind of artwork that I want hanging in my man cave, my own personal bat cave, because man, it was gorgeous in like an oil painting kind of way. Basically, this whole issue was not an origin story for Cassandra Cain. Rather, it was more of a endearment story. You get to see how human she really is, because she never talks. She never talks because of all the horrors that her father has made her see. It's really sad. It's scary in some ways, and it really brought it home. And this little girl who absolutely refuses to talk, aside from the occasional no once in a while, she finds a way to speak louder than words, and that's dancing. And the way that they pulled it off in this story was simply amazing. It really was endearing. It's kind of like one of those choke up moments if you really just let it come over you. She basically finds this girl who's an amazing ballet dancer, and she starts learning how to do ballet also, but in the shadows. And it's a way of expression, and it's great. It's therapeutic. And let's be realistic, every single person in the Bat family needs some kind of therapy. So it's funny that Orphan seems to be the closest to doing what she actually needs to do to become a better person. It also sets up that Lady Shiva has returned, and next issue is going to start a League of Shadows thing. So, oh man, absolutely anxious for this. Guys, the next story is called Higher Powers, and it features Lucius Fox as Batwing, and it also features Azrael. Guys, this is a really cool story in the sense that you get to see just how badass that Azrael actually is, and the idea that him praying, him meditating beforehand is really, look, I'm going to explain it nice and simply. If you really want to get a good idea of who Azrael is, this is the comic to check out. And it's also going to set up something pretty interesting, I think. The least of the three interesting, but still very interesting in the future. You get to find out pretty much all you need to know about Azrael. You get to see that his armor and he himself were made to be in perfect sync with each other, and that surrender is the ultimate way to become one and to become an incredible fighting machine that just destroys everything in your path. So with Lucius being a man of science and with Azrael being a man of religion, they both have a conversation together, and they wind up stumbling upon something that the suit, which is apparently still sentient, still understands things, overcome Azrael, or even better, actually come into its own true sentience. And now Abscalon, this new, I imagine it's perfectly android, is this new device, this new machine that's come to life now, and it's going to be a problem in the future. And I'm really looking forward to it, because it looks like the suit is finally going to leave the owner and move on to its own. The final story is interesting on its own because it involves Tim Drake. So this is obviously in the past, and it's basically just a really quickie kind of thing. We get to see that Tim Drake is He's the guy who seems to know Batman better than anybody else knows Batman. I mean, aside from Alfred, maybe even more than Alfred. And he basically sees that Batman is setting up all of his little Robins all over the place so that they can give him eyes in areas that he never had eyes before. So he's starting a war. That's the way that Tim Drake sees it, and Batman's not denying it. So he's asking him, why are you setting up for war? I kind of hope it's something that has to do with Amanda Waller, but we'll see. Either way, guys, this comic is going to get a B+. I really like the way that everything went down in this. I mean, they gave us 3 stories that were exactly as long as they needed to be, and they were all great. I gotta admit, especially the first one, it was absolutely beautiful. Got to see a little more resolution with Clayface and just all sorts of things you can imagine. Guys, excellent comic. Definitely worth going out and picking up. It's good for display at the very least. It's issue number 950. I've been waiting for this for a while. Anyway, guys, Professor Bell, Comic Book University, class dismissed.